guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ken, and today we're here to review Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the sequel to the 2018 Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So, I'm excited to talk about this one. We were pretty big fans of the one that came out in 2018. But before we get into it, guys, if you're a fan of movies and TV and entertainment content, hit the subscribe button. We would appreciate that. And also,
like the video,
like she said, and then comment down below if you saw this movie, what's your thoughts on it. If you're gonna see it, let us know in that comment section below. I feel like a lot of people probably saw this. The movie made pretty good money this weekend.
It did,
at the box office, very successful. So certainly happy to see that. So where do you want to start with this one? You want to start with just kind of reflect on our experience with the first one and our expectations for this one?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we were really big fans of the first one. It was, in my opinion, almost perfect of a movie. And, the theater experience was great. And even, like, rewatching it later at home, like, I still loved it. And
we all went together as a family, which we did to this one as well.
Right.
I just remember the experience, like, we were all just, like, super into the movie.
Yeah.
And it was just a really cool, like, family movie watching experience. So.
Right. And, I mean, I was honestly really surprised how much I loved it just because it is animation.
Yeah, I was not expecting to like it that much.
And it's, like, not your typical animation either. Like, the style of it is just very different and unique and, also still kind of, like, comic booky.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like it's very different. But yeah, we loved it.
Yeah.
And I was excited that they made another one.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, this one's been in development for a while. Of course, we knew, I'd say probably a year ago, that this was going to be a two-parter. And this was the first of that, two-part. Again, this is, I think this will probably be like a trilogy by the time we get to the end of it. But, I'm a huge fan of the first one. That was probably my favorite movie of the year it came out. I've even gone as far as say it's my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Right.
And probably I'd say at least top 3 animated movies of all time.
Yeah.
For me. So it took a little bit to get into.
Yeah.
Compared to the first one, I don't know, when the first one started, I remember being in a theater and just that score, how it like blared in and just how that movie got started. I was just super like glued to the screen and immersed.
Yeah.
It took a little bit to get into this one for me.
Yeah.
But once I did, I was kind of along for the ride for it, for sure.
Yeah, this one definitely started different. And like you said, it took me a little bit to get into it. Our theater did have some technical difficulties, so that could have played into it as well. We just had some issues with like the lights dimming. And then also something that I just wanted to briefly talk about, we had kind of heard some stuff about sound issues with the movie.
Yeah.
And I do think
with the dialogue is what I heard, like the actual like people talking.
Right. And well, for me personally, again, I don't know if it was our theater or if it was part of what others were complaining about. It just didn't seem as like loud and grand as the first one.
Yeah.
Something,
it was definitely low volume. Like it,
yeah.
I think it was the theater's issue, or maybe just the movie itself. I don't know.
Yeah,
because other people had the problem too.
Right. Yeah, I didn't have as much trouble with like dialogue, but I was a little disappointed. One of the things that I loved about the first one was the music.
Yeah.
I mean I remember listening to that soundtrack on repeat, and I mean there's still some of my favorite songs.
Yeah, that Sunflower song, and then What's Up Danger. Yeah. It was a great soundtrack. Yeah, great score too.
So the music in this one was good, but I don't feel like it was as like in your face.
Yeah.
So I was a little disappointed in that, but it was still good. But it
also the movie doesn't really start with Miles, and we're not trying to spoil too much here, but it takes a little bit to get to the Miles Morales character.
It does.
And not that we didn't like the character that they started with, but that's not like we love Miles Morales. Like, to me, he's my favorite Spider-Man portrayal of Spider-Man, to be honest.
Oh wow.
I would put him above Toby and Andrew and all the live action ones. I love Miles Morales.
I mean, I love him too. I think that he brings just so much like heart and personality, and I know you've said that you feel like he just has like a pure.
There's just a pureness to him. He feels like the purest embodiment of that character, if that makes sense. And there's a couple of lines that he has in here that just really resonated and hit me, and I'm just like, that's how Spider-Man's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And like Tom
He's
Holland
great.
and everybody else, they try their best, but I was like, that's the truest form of Spider-Man.
And I mean,
to me.
obviously, it's completely different, like an animated versus
It
an
is.
actor who has to
And I
bring like
wouldn't-
physical
I would always put like
emotions.
live action ahead of animation, like
Right.
most of the time. But with this, like I put both of these movies. Well, I don't know. We'll talk about this one.
Yeah.
Our thoughts on this one.
But what is the guy who plays Miles?
That the actor is name is Shamike Moore.
Yeah, I mean, he does a fantastic job.
Great voice. Everybody, like, there's so many people. Like, we're looking at the cast of this movie, and it's people we didn't even know were in it. But Haley Steinfeld is as Spider-Gwen. Obviously, I think she's great too.
It is so weird to me to know that she plays Gwen's voice because I don't put the two together at all. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see her when I hear that voice. It's really weird. Like, I forgot that she was the voice.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, she was when Spider-Verse, first came out. She was a lot younger. She probably was like 18 or 19 when that movie
Yeah.
came out. Now she's a little bit older. So, but yeah, everybody's great. You got Jake Johnson returning as Peter Parker, the
Yep.
Spider-Man, if you want to call him that. I like his voice portrayal as well. But Jason Schwartzman's the quote unquote villain
Yeah.
of this movie, Spot. I don't know if you want to call Spot a villain. How did you feel about the villain of this movie?
So, at first, they definitely portray him as kind of a joke.
Yeah.
It kind of brought some comedic aspects to the movie.
Yeah.
But then it kind of turns to where I felt like he, was and will be a pretty,
Yeah. He's a joke in this movie. I feel like by the time we get to the end, they set him up to be a pretty great villain in
Right,
the
yeah.
next movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I guess we can talk about just our feelings on this. Did you like this movie? I guess.
So when I came out, I felt like I had to process it a little bit because I was hearing such amazing things about it.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I just wasn't quite sure if I got all the hype on it.
Yeah.
Because, I'll just go ahead and say it. As of right now, the first one is still my favorite.
Oh, yeah, I'd say so. This one didn't have that. When I got out of the theater, the first one, I was just like, yes, hell yes. Like, that was one of the best movies I've seen all year. And this one was like, you got to think about it a little bit. Yes, I liked it a lot.
Right.
But there is a lot to process. And also, again, not to spoil anything, but it's an incomplete movie.
Right.
Like, you feel like you're getting ready to go into the third act of the movie, and then it ends because this is part 1 of 2. So,
and it is a little darker.
It is a little darker,
it's not
yeah.
as light.
The first one definitely had some dark themes as well.
Yeah, it did.
It did.
And this one was also longer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was, I don't know how long the first one was.
I'm not
maybe
sure
an hour
either.
and a half, maybe a little bit longer. But yeah, this one was 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I feel like there's just a lot going on in this movie. We have the introduction to what is it called? Spider Academy or?
The Spider Academy, yeah.
Yeah, so that was, a really fun thing to see, just all the different Spider-Man variants.
Yeah.
Which it's funny because you chose to get up to go to the bathroom not knowing that part was about to happen.
Yeah.
And so you did miss some, fun scenes or whatever with the Academy or whatever.
There's a lot of Easter eggs here. Like, if you've been reading Spider-Man comics like forever, like, you're going to be rewarded watching this movie. I think there's a lot of cameos here.
Yeah.
That I wasn't expecting to see. Some live action cameos.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
In the movie. I'll say this about this movie, and the last one too, but this one in particular, like, really just dives into the multiverse.
Oh yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse, and I think they do a really great job of making you understand the world.
Yeah, I would agree with
and
that.
get it. Like, we've seen a lot of multiverse movies. Doctor Strange, I think, did an okay job, but that didn't really deliver fully on the premise. That was a lot of people's complaints. Everything Everywhere All at Once, I like the movie. I know it's a Best Picture winner. I didn't understand anything that was going on in that movie as far as a multiverse. So I think this does a great job of, setting it up to where you understand where everything is and where everybody is and where everybody comes from and their goals and all that stuff.
Right.
One thing I'll say though, and I don't want this to come across as a negative. It's not a negative per se, but I wasn't into the characters, like the side characters, as much as in this one as I was the first one.
Yeah.
Like you had Spider Noir, played by Nicolas Cage, who I thought was great. The pig, Spider Ham, I loved. So I loved all the side characters in the first one, and I missed them here. I wish that some of them would have came back, and I think they do by the time we get to the end. They kind of show back up a little bit, but I wasn't as into the different side characters in this movie.
Yeah.
So that's one kind of negative. Not that they were bad or anything. I just didn't find them as enjoyable. But there's some darker aspects, and they're not supposed to be as fun, I think. And yeah, definitely excited to see the next one, which is called Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. I feel like the names are very confusing for me, but they also work. So.
And we do also want to call out that there are no post-credit scenes for this movie because it does close off on a big cliffhanger. So I don't think they wanted to put anything after that or anything. They want to just pick right up where that left off. So you don't have to stay seated. You can get up and walk out.
So I do enjoy myself a good post credit scene, but I was very happy to be able to get up out of there and leave without waiting.
I get excited when there's not one.
Right.
Like, hell yes, I can just
leave. Because, again, this movie was 2 hours and 20 minutes, and then you add in previews. You're sitting there for a while, so. Yeah,
all right. So let's get into our final thoughts. What are you going to give it as far as a score? I'm actually interested what you're going to say.
Yeah, I'm going to give this 4.5.
Okay, 4.5.
4.5 out of 5.
I'm gonna give it a 4 right now.
Okay.
I thought about a 4.5, but I need to rewatch it again.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be bumped up, and maybe when the next one comes out, it'll really be bumped up because I'll get to watch it as a complete experience. But I would give the first one a 5. It's perfect for me. 5 out of 5. One of my favorite comic book movies of all time. This one I really liked, but didn't quite love. So 4 out of a 5 for me.
All right.
But appreciate you guys watching this review of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. We definitely recommend that you go out
for sure.
To the theaters to see it for sure. But hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like button. Also, comment down below your thoughts if you're going to see it. Let us know in that comment section below. Turn on the bell notifications and follow us on our social media accounts down below in the description. And we'll see you guys later.
Bye.